Welcome back to the Douyu TV Dota 2 Cup. This is going to be our second series of the day and the last one for this evening. It's going to be VG Gaming Potential versus Newbee.Y in the upper bracket. As far as our first series is concerned, me and Kefka were casting there, as we are going to be on this series as well, and Tongfu looking incredibly strong. And honestly, I'm not sure if any of these teams can really come to the amount of just individual skill from that team.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit different this game, I think, from compared to earlier. But I'm really amazed by the Chinese scheduler. Like they 2 hours for best of three all these days, and it's actually been working out, which is very surprisingly. No, not a lot of long games, and which is not very common in the or in general. The Chinese scene has been playing a lot longer games, at least before. As the history shows, they really like their farming and tends to go for late game, but very fast games, at least in the playoffs here.
Yeah, and also pretty quick drafts. We're going to open things up with a Tusk first pick for VG Gaming Potential, and then Newbee.Y will respond with a Shadow Fiend and a Winter Wyvern.
Yeah, Tusk being picked quite early. Pretty nice to see. I always like seeing the hero. And Shadow Fiend being played as well. Finally, he wasn't touched at all, I think. He wasn't picked. He might have been banned the first game, I'm not sure, but was ignored completely the second game at least. And it's nice to see him play. He's very strong on the Radiant side, where he can just go jungle. And with a Winter Wyvern that can help him out, maybe TP and save him, it's pretty safe for him in mid.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised that he wasn't touched. Tongfu and Energy Basemaker both really love their Shadow Fiend, but today just wasn't the day for him. VG Gaming Potential will go ahead and pick up Lina after the Tusk. Bit of an aggressive duo there, but I think both of these teams will be pretty happy with what they've picked up so far.
Yeah, Lina picked up is pretty good. It's very good against both Shadow Fiend and Winter Wyvern, with some magic damage so that the Cold Embrace doesn't save anyone, and it's pretty good. Broodmother being banned out, talked a lot about it. The Chinese scene really like to ban it out quite early sometimes. I think the European scene are more okay with playing against Broodmother, but it's just so annoying hero, and it's very hard to play against.
Yeah, fair enough. As far as the other bans are concerned and what both of these teams are going to be looking for, VG Gaming Potential have a lot of flexibility with how they run the Tusk and Lina. Both of those heroes are very good at adjusting to different roles. But for now, I wouldn't be surprised if Lina ends up going mid. That's probably going to be the assumption, but ooh, very interesting. Newbee.Y pick up a Jakiro.
Yeah, this draft is looking a lot different than the previous series with Nice Talk and Wiper ban out, so a lot different there. And also what Jakiro picked here, which is a very uncommon hero. Seen very little play compared to a few patches ago where he was maybe the most picked offlaner and has completely fallen off. And Newbee.Y brings it in here. I'm not sure if he's going to be an offlaner that he used to be. And I wonder how they're going to lane it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's always very interesting when you get one of these heroes that's a little bit uncommon. But that said, it is pretty good against Tusk. Snowballing in with a couple of your allies can very easily be punished by an ice path combination coming out from the Jack, and in general is a pretty good aggressive hero coming out from Newbee.Y. But I think the biggest draw to picking up the Jakiro right now is it means that VG Gaming Potential don't really know what's going on with Newbee.Y's draft for sure. There's so many different ways that you can lane the Jakiro.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure how they're gonna do, and I don't think VG Gaming knows either. And I think they're just gonna play safe. There's no real heroes that counter Jakiro. It's a very overall hero that's good, and there's no real reason to try and counter that hero. And VG Gaming goes for the Queen of Pain, which is a pretty good pickup. It's very good against Shadow Fiend and Winter Wyvern, and it doesn't show anything. It's probably gonna be a Lina support. That's all.
Yeah, Queen of Pain does fairly well against the Shadow Fiend in mid, although with the Winter Wyvern behind him, it's going to be a lot harder to kill off and dive the Shadow Fiend. Just in raw laning stage, it's a fairly even exchange between both of those heroes.
Yeah, I wonder what Newbee.Y. This is probably going to reveal what position Jakiro is going to be in. He's going to be support or offlane, I think. Very unlikely to be a carry, I think. Unless they go for a very push-heavy lineup, and that could be a Pugna pick or something now. But I think we're going to see a Jakiro offlane. I would like to see it at least. I really like it there still. I think it's still strong, even with Yules being nerfed earlier. And with a high mana cost, it's a bit harder for him to get to use it efficiently. But he also has a Shadow Fiend that can go for the ult, so he doesn't really need to have this setup himself. He can let Shadow Fiend do it and just follow up with Ice Path himself. And they have a lot of options, and they go for the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, pretty interesting coming up from Newbee.Y. We don't know for sure how they're going to end up laning the Storm Spirit and the Shadow Fiend. Probably going to be a safe lane Storm and a mid SF, but they have that flexibility. It's looking more and more like the Jakiro is going to be played in an offlane role, I want to say.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a Lion pickup from VG Gaming. They have Lean already, so it's a bit much in terms of nuke. Instead of you don't have a lot of flexibility with those heroes. You have some lockdown, of course, but they're very squishy and can get picked off by Storm Spirit if he gets a somewhat early VG.P. But it could be a pretty good pick. We saw it both games earlier to counter the Storm Spirit, and it worked pretty good. But not sure if VG Gaming potential is gonna do the same. I think they can do a lot here if they want. They can go aggressive tri lane and put a lot of pressure and have someone safe lane against the Kiro if it's gonna be an offlaner. But it's very hard for VG Gaming. They don't really know. They don't have any like clear heroes that they can go for. So they can do pretty much anything they want.
Yeah, that's what you get when you come with so many flexible heroes in their first 3 picks. Lina, Tuscan, Queen of Pain, all can be shuffled around nicely, and this is really the first pick that VG Gaming actually have to show something with. It's going to be a Naga Siren. Okay, so at the moment I think it's pretty safe to assume that this is going to be a farming Naga for them. There's no real big ultimates that they're going to want to reset afterwards, or a tombstone that they have to focus, so I think VG want to be putting some farm on it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's I guess they like the hero. It's not. This was a really like not fitting pick, but Naga doesn't really have to fit. She will be if you get her farm, she will always work, and ultimate is never really bad as long as you know how to use it. And it's a very hard ultimate to use efficiently. And Newbee.Y has some potential to shut this Naga down with a lot of aggression with Storm Spirit and also pushing power with Kiro and Shadow Fiend. Winter-Wyvern also being a pretty good pushing hero because he can heal one of your cores up, so he can tank the tower a bit. And I wonder how Newbee.Y is gonna look at this. If they wanna try and go early game and really punish this Naga, or if they're gonna go for something that maybe can deal with Naga later on.
Yeah, no matter what the choice may be, it'll be interesting next couple of picks from both of these teams. I think Newbee.Y, one of the biggest disadvantages they have against the Naga is that in the lane, Naga Siren should be having a reasonable time. The Jakiro can be really annoying, for sure, inside the laning stage, but the amount of ability for Newbee.Y to rotate early is pretty limited. Winter Wyvern doesn't contribute that much to ganks pre-6.
Yeah, Newbee.Y bans out the Bloodseeker, so they're expecting this Naga to be a support, and VG Gaming banning out Undying, which is very weird, considering they picked Naga, which can kind of counter the Tombstone. And Newbee.Y, no hesitation, picks up Earthseeker immediately, which is a great hero against Naga. You can, if he doesn't get Radiance, it's somewhat easy to lock her down, and you have a long-range Fissure, so you can maybe even stop the Naga Sleep from being efficient.
Yeah, this Naga Siren's going to need a lot of farm before her illusions can really stand up to the amount of AoE that Newbee.Y have. Everybody's going to be contributing something when it comes to clearing out waves and the Elus, and it's going to make Naga Siren's game a little bit harder. Maybe they do decide after all to switch this Naga into a support, but nope, it's going to be a Rubik last pick for VG Gaming potential.
Yeah, the classic Rubik Lina combo that we've seen a lot this tournament. Probably the most picked support combo here, actually, and I really like it. It's they're quite weak, to be honest, both of them, but they can be pretty aggressive, and it's very good against Storm Spirit with Rubik being able to lift immediately. As long as he has the reactions to do it, it's very good.
Yeah, in general, I think Rubik's one of the better picks that they could go for here. There's so many good spells to steal, and he synergizes as well with the rest of the team. I think it's going to be hard to call who actually wins this game. I think a lot rests on how well the Storm Spirit does for Newbee.Y. If the Storm Spirit has a good time, it's going to be difficult for VG Gaming potential to get the Naga to a comfortable place. But if the Storm Spirit suffers and only has an okay time in the lane, I think VG Gaming potential will be okay just to wait out until Dogfights gets to critical mass on the Naga Siren. Quickly, let's introduce the rest of the team's members. Yang going to be playing on the Tusk following the Naga bottom. Lina will be handled by Lynn. Rubik played by James. Safelane Quap, or at least that's where she's heading now, by XLL. For the Newbee.Y side, they're on the Radiant side of the map. Piao's going to be handling the Storm Spirit. SCC on the Shadow Fiend. Winter Wyvern played by Melody Lovers. Mr. on the Earthshaker. And offlane Jakiro by Iwi.
And I have some major slideshow Dota, but I'll try and reconnect. And I hope Newbee.Y goes for something a bit aggressive with Yakiro and Earthshaker on the offlane. That could be really good to punish this Naga for being quite a weak hero. And Yakiro gets some levels, hits level 3, can harass a lot with Earthshaker being able to save him if they go for him. It could be really good actually.
Yeah, for now the Jakiro just goes out, runs out, tries to place his ward, but he's met by a Queen of Pain and a Rubik, so the Jakiro's not going to have a safe time to place that out, and will probably just go for a more defensive ward spot, spotting out the top rune area. The Earthshaker for now is joining the rest of their team, securing the jungle for their side, and they're going to successfully deward the Dire Observer placed out by VG Gaming Potential. That's going to be a pretty big boon for them. I would like to see the Earthshaker have a fairly active role in top and mid, not really show his face at all inside bottom, so we'll just have to see where the Earthshaker settles. He's going to prep a fissure, but doesn't actually throw that towards dogfights. Bounty runes will be thrown towards either side. Shadowfiend will get the one in bottom lane, and Lina will secure the bounty in top. So actually, oh, this is a very, very interesting laning situation coming out from VG Gaming Potential. They're going to go for this support Tusk.
I think this is support Naga with just going the Stout Shield to tank up. I think Tusk is gonna farm it actually.
Okay.
It's very unorthodox from VG Gaming Potential here.
Yeah.
It could be Naga getting some farm. They might even split it, try and get 50-50. But this is very weird, and it's nice to have Queen of Pain safe lane. She can kind of dominate a lot of heroes. Akiri can stand up pretty good for a while, but as support rotating up is going to be very hard for him. And they have a pretty good matchup in mid, with Lina being the mid core instead of she being a support in this game.
Yeah, I would love to know like the reasoning behind this laning stage for VG Gaming Potential, but it is going to be very interesting to say the least. It's going to be that Naga Siren isn't going to be that threatening. It looks like they are giving all of the CS to Tusk. So Dogfights is purely just that reset button, and that's nice and all, especially after Winter's Curse, but I think this game, I'm not sure if it's nice enough. Mid lane, both of these heroes will drop pretty low. Bottle's flying out to the Shadow Fiend. And let's see how Lina's Bottle's coming along. She's not going to be there for a little bit, but she'll be able to sustain herself in lane. With dual lanes coming out from VG Gaming Potential, our early game is going to be very, very static. The only one that's going to move is the Earthshaker, more than likely.
Yeah, this is Earthshaker looking at mid, but he hits the, this could be a dead Lina actually. I wonder if she will get out. This is not another race to hit, so Lina will get out. That was very close. And this is really weird lanes. I'm not sure if it's gonna favor. I think VG Gaming Potential has can get a lot of from their safe lane, on their off lane rather. Tusk is really good against Storm Pit in lane. He can do a lot of damage and also can kind of dodge and work around the static remnant. But on the other side, Yakiro could do good, but he's taking a lot of damage and might even go down up here.
It's going to be lifted up, slowed down by the Shadow Strike with no boots. I was going to put under a lot of pressure. This is first blood if they can dive for it. It looks like they want to. Dual Breath under a tower. XL is going to take a couple of tower shots, but the Jakiro looks like he's going to go down. This is such an awkward pause.
Yeah, he's dead. There's no way. He gets out of this. And Queen of Pain has regions. She can tank this. Might go for a bottle. It would be pretty good for her. And yeah, this is a really weird start here. Tusk is getting a lot of farm on offlane here, but Stormspit is keeping up, which is good for him. He really needs to get some farm here.
It's going to be first blood drawn by XLL. He'll be able to blink back, and as you already mentioned, has plenty of regen to sustain himself in this lane with 973 gold. That's going to be enough to get a bottle if he wants it, but mid lane, they catch out a fissure and a couple of raises onto the Lina. That's going to be her death this time around.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend with a haste, that's not what you want to face with Earthshaker being mid as well. That was a really important pickup for Newbee.Y because mid lane was gonna be quite hard. I think Yakiro is having such a hard time here on offlane. He's really lucky that Queen of Pain has no mana, only 10 away. I think he would have gone down if there was a Shadow Strike.
Yeah, it looks like these lanes are going to work out pretty well for VG Gaming Potential. They're getting farm over 3 of these lanes. Of course, the Queen of Pain's a little bit...
Lane, Naga taking a lot of damage, and Fisher is coming here.
The Fisher from the sidelines kills off Dogfights. Piao is going to trade blows, but with the Cold Embrace, we'll be able to survive. And now they'll chase forward for a little bit more onto Yang. He doesn't have Snowball or Ice Shards for 11 seconds. And let's see, Yang is going to get punched a couple of times to have another Fisher cooling down. Not enough mana on this Shaker, and he has a salve, although that salve is cancelled. If they bring in the Shadow Fiend from the left-hand side, maybe they could have lined up a couple of raises, but they'll decide it's not worth it. And the Tusk looks like he's going to be able to run out from here.
Yeah, it's a good play from Tusk. He saw that Earthshaker had clarity on, so he turned. But he might go down. This is very weird movement.
Oh, that was good. Creeps. Yeah, well played by the Tusk. He's going to survive.
Yeah, really good presence of mind. Realizing how we can get out of it without really risking anything. And lost some farm there. Naga wasn't able to TP out. She ran out, so no one was taking the experience. So it wasn't. It was pretty good for Newbee.Y, forcing them out, and they lost a lot of experience. And they're doing really well on the course. Shadowfiend winning mid because of the early gank from Earthshaker, and also Sapling going a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah, Stormspirit's having a pretty good time, even though he's trading about evenly with the Tusk when it comes to CS. That's acceptable for Newbee.Y. They'd much rather have the Stormspirit having a good time than them shut down the Tusk and the Stormspirit suffers. Bottom rune, going to be a bottled invis for the Lina. Maybe that can set up something for Lin. He's going to have his boots flying out now, so with some sort of rotation, they could in theory kill off this SF, but there's nobody really to make that move, and I think this invis is just going to prove to help the Lina survive if they go onto her, but there is a sentry on this Earthshaker. Things could still go sour if she gets walled off.
Yeah, and this Yakira is having some major trouble up here. He needs to kind of get a bit more than he's currently getting, because Tusk is doing really good on offlane, even though it could have gone even better, but he's still getting a lot of farm compared to Jakiro, who's getting nothing pretty much.
Yeah, it's not unexpected when you're running this offlane solo Jakiro, but Newbee.Y, when you go for one of these more unconventional picks, you kind of need something from it. The Jakiro needs some extra levels so he can convincingly put pressure on these towers with the Liquid Fire once he decides to move off of the lane.
Yeah, and a bottle from Tusk is a really good item for him. And Lina kind of doesn't really want to stand mid anymore. It's very risky. He has no ward anymore. They have one ward, but it's gonna time out very soon. So she doesn't want to stand there anymore because any smoke gank can kill her off. And Naga's gonna take the experience at least. But it's really good for Newbee.Y so far. The only problem they're having is the Akiro, but Shadowfiend having a good time is much better for them.
Yeah, mid lane rotation in from the Earthshaker is going to be spotted out, and it looks like they know where the ward is. Dogfights is going to eat the Fissure, double raise, and that's going to be the death of Naga Siren. If they get one more attack in, she won't die. She's able to salve up, and SEC not able to get that last auto attack through. Most other supports would have lost their lives there, but Naga Siren with a good amount of base armor will survive.
Oh, bottom lane, Lina with Invis, just using her Laguna Blade to get a pick off on Stormfight. That's a big kill. That's very nice VG game potential, and some misplay from the Shadowfiend. He should have spotted the Magic Wand on Naga, and he should have used the last race. He was really greedy, wanted to save the mana and getting out of attack off instead, and it resulted in Naga getting away. And Stormfight dies at the same time, so good movement from Lina, and somewhat lucky that Naga got out.
Next couple rotations from VG Game Potential will be a lot harder to kill off the Storm Spirit since he's going to get close to his level 6, but they have both the Lina and the Rubik there. It still is a possibility. Up in top lane, the Earthshaker is going to partner up with the Jakiro again, but still, the status quo is looking alright for VG Gaming Potential up in top. The Queen Pain's getting a lot of space. Oh, they're going to jump in. The Walrus Punch onto Piao will buy them some time. They try to turn around with the Magic Stick as well as the Bottle and the Cold Embrace. Piao will survive. They'll throw another Ice Shards. They need a little bit more damage. Light Strike Array and an auto attack will secure it. Lina will kill off the Storm.
Yeah, I think that Cold Embrace was a mistake. I think he could have survived the Stormfight if Winter Wyvern just ran into them and sacrificed himself. Got a body block, gets some auto attacks off. But he wanted to try and Cold Embrace the Storm, even though there's a lot of magic damage from VG Gaming, with Ice Charge being level 3 already and Lina just being only magic damage. So, slight mistake, might have died either way, so I'm not gonna bash too much here.
The Earthshaker has been sitting behind the Shadowfiend the whole time, but if they catch a Fissure on the Naga Siren, I think she'll probably end up dying. She's just soaking some experience here for now. What's the support Naga going to go for? Brown Boots it is. Just not getting that much income. Up in top lane, very interesting. Nobody's actually there from either team.
Yeah, Jakiro pushed it out a bit and tipped it home. It's not 6 yet, and there's a lot of stacks here. And it would be really nice if Jakiro could take it, but it's gonna go to the Shadowfiend, which is probably what you want. But you need this Jakiro to get a bit more. He really could use the Jules, because the Shadowfiend is going for the mech. So they could really use a setup for Jakiro, even though they have Earthshaker who can do a decent job at it.
Yeah, it would help out quite a bit. But with the level 3 into the Liquid Fire, they can still push down these towers fairly easily, as long as they can find some kills beforehand, or just commit enough heroes, commit appropriately. Down bottom lane, Melody Lovers will find some experience. Winter Wyvern's going to get level 6 very shortly. The Winter's Curse could set things up for Newbee.Y.
Yeah, the supports of VG Gaming are not doing very well. They're kind of behind in levels, and I'm not sure how they're planning to make this up. Naga is kind of soon 5. She's stacking a bit, but she's not getting any experience with standing mid quite a lot and not being able to get experience there though because of the pressure from Fisher and Shadow Fiend. And Rubik can't really stand here on bottom lane with a Storm Spirit being able to kill him anytime when he's off map. Right now he's in base, so he can't really go for it, but Rubik has to play defensive because of it.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult for them. This game is slowed down a lot. Tier 1 tower on bottom lane is going to take some shots from the Liquid Fire, the Jakiro, but I don't think they'll be able to take it, especially not with the TP in from the Tusk. That's going to force back the Jakiro and make sure that Melody Lovers as well as Ivy can't commit any further.
Yeah, and also I forgot to talk about it, but Rubik is really good against what Newbee.Y has. Fisher obviously is a really good spell to steal, but all Jakiro spell are really good to steal. They're really good to set up with his own kit. He can just lift into Ice Path, or if he steals ultimate, he can just throw it down and lift into them. And pretty good against Winter Wyvern as well. All of his spells are pretty good, with the exception of Arctic Burn probably. But it's a pretty good hero here, and it's a really nice last pick they got there.
Shadowfiend going to be fighting up with Queen of Pain. She has a double damage rune, but it's going to eat the first raise, second raise, and they'll not be able to get that kill, but Queen of Pain survives within inches of her life. In the meantime, Tusk kills off the Winter Wyvern down in the bottom river area. Invis on the Shadowfiend is going to be popped, but it looks like VG Gaming Potential know about this. I think they spotted him out with this Ward Sentry combo.
Yeah, there's not a lot of stack for Shadowfiend to steal, so he's probably gonna try and get a kill. He has this Requiem, and but this is risky. The Sentry is timing out precisely now, so he's a bit lucky that if he goes down he won't get killed. But is there another Sentry on them? No, they don't have one, so he's safe. Winter Wyvern going for the rune on bottom lane, getting punished quite hard with Tusk just with a massive amount of nukes together with Rubik, kills him off. And Rubik is almost 6, which is gonna be very big for them.
As you've already kind of mentioned, since you're going to be placed in mid, Fish connects onto Lina, but no further follow-up. Just traded spells across both sides of the map. This is such a interesting game. There's a lot of posturing from both of these teams, but not a lot of actual fights.
Yeah, and looks like Newbee.Y wants to go for this mid tower with the mech being picked up, and you have to be careful though. VG Gaming are really strong, and Storm's gonna sip in.
With the Winter's Curse, they're going to go straight onto Yang, and Yang is going to go down. Not enough appropriate help for them, even though the Fissure doesn't connect. Nice smoke from Newbee Youth, and it looks like this Tier 1 tower is going to take a good amount of heat, but they're going to have to wait for the next creeps, and Queen of Pain has been left alone in top lane. She'll take down the Tier 1 tower in trade, even if they do get it. For now, they're going to back up and farm their woods.
Yeah, in the end, a very good trade for VG Gaming getting a tower, and they defended that one with only a Tusk dying. That's really good, and I was pretty scary for Newbee, to be honest, because Naga was like 20 experience away from level 6 when they went there. If he had gotten that before, she could have just turned it completely with a TP from the rest of VG Gaming. That could have been horrible.
Next set of runes is going to come forward with a regen picked up by the Queen of Pain and a bounty rune for the Storm Spirit. But the game's going to go back to its very slow pace, and I don't really know who I favor in that situation. I think VG Gaming Potential are just waiting until this Queen of Pain picks up her first item before they really want to go for things.
Bottom lane.
Yeah, gonna try to catch out Yang. He'll be able to get off the snowball, and that's gonna disjoint a little bit of his initiation, but now he's isolated. Echo Slam not gonna stun Yang, only gets a little bit of damage through, and with the Song of the Siren, Tusk maybe be able to turn this one around. He has Ice Shards, he has Walrus Punch, but he's also very low. Sonic Wave, Queen Pain comes in from the sidelines, catches up pretty much everybody. They'll focus down the Shadow Fiend, and Piao, or XLO, excuse me, will be able to blink over towards the left-hand side. Earthshaker will survive. The rest of the fight continues as they look for Melody Lovers, not gonna find him. Snowball over towards the Jakiro, they'll lose the Jack, and that's 3 to 6 a trade for VG Game Potential. The power of Song of the Siren is really immense, although it is a very long cooldown at this point. Works out wonderfully for VG Gaming.
They saw Storm on top lane. They saw that he didn't have the mana or a Soul Ring to help out, so they just go for that. Really good play from them. Jakiro kinda getting him set up away. That was a bit weird. He was kinda hiding and could have TP'd away in a few seconds. He just ran in and died. I think he expected the rest of Newbee.Y to go in there and fight, but a bit greedy play, and that Naga Siren really turned that around.
Yeah, and now VG.P potential will farm up in the enemy woods. Although there's no stacks here to take, it's still a decent amount of economic damage done by them, and they're just securing map control. The newbie young Shadow Fiend is getting a lot of farm in his own right. He's going to be working towards the standard BKB next, but it doesn't feel like he's fighting with as much net worth as he's sitting on, and a lot of it comes down to the fact that the supports coming out from Newbee Young, and even the Storm Spirit to a lesser extent, are really starting to fall behind. The Urshikar's Arcane Boots is where you want him to be, more or less, but everybody else is severely behind. The Jakiro compared at face value to the Tusk is almost at half the amount of gold, and Tusk has had just a much greater impact in general. 0, 2, and 0 on the Jakiro compared to 1, 1, and 3 on the Tusk.
Yeah, and they're gonna go for this mid tower. This is very risky. The sleep is down, of course, but there's a lot of damage from VG Gaming with Pop also ultimate down. They might just give this up. It's they're lacking a lot of ultimates, and I'm not sure how this is gonna go if the Newbee decides to go.
2-1 tower is going to be dropped low. They'll use up the Shadow Fiend as Storm Spirit zips into the backlines with Winter's Curse. They'll blow up the Lina. Pretty good turn of events. Winter's Curse is stolen. Can Rubik get a good one? And it looks like he's going to drop it onto the backlines, but they're not focusing down any of these heroes. The Storm Spirit still survives. So unleashed Requiem with Golden Brace. Piao will survive, and the Naga Siren focus down a double kill for SCC, and the tier 1 tower falls in kind. That initiation from Newbie Young works wonders, but in the meantime they have to deal with the Queen of Pain in bottom lane. He's taken a tier 2 tower down to 327 HP.
Really impressive fight from Newbee Young. Fisher, Urshiker running around, getting a great Fisher on 3-man, and Stormbeard just stepping in and destroying everyone. That was pretty impressive positioning from Newbee Young, and it resulted in a lot of kills and a tower. And that could have been very good for VG Gaming if Cop had been there with ultimate. I think she had 15 seconds cooldown when the fight started, and I think Newbee Young might have even timed that ultimate, so they knew exactly how far they could go.
Queen of Pain is playing a dangerous game in bottom lane, but she's sitting on the knowledge that she spotted out the Shadow Fiend with this deep observer ward that was placed, and she was also spotted out by the Radiant Obs, so both teams going in there with quite a lot of intel over each other, and it's going to mean that Queen of Pain's able to survive, just getting the slight edge.
Yeah, and Shadow Fiend getting a lot of farm. He might become a bit too strong for VG Gaming. They have good things to deal with him. If Lina managed to pick up Aghanims together with Co-op Ultimate, they can deal with him even if he has BKB. But he's gonna pick up BKB before those items are up, or at least Aghanims and Lina, and they could hit a really good timing where they're just too strong on Newbee and can take down a lot of towers.
Smoking top lane, Piao and the two supports are going to look to get the jump into VG Gaming potential. If they find any one hero, that's a pretty good fight for them, but if they find anybody, it's at the very least 3, and I don't think they're going to spot eyes onto them before it's too late. They're going to go over towards this hill, but it's a smoke coming up from VG Gaming potential themselves that was completely spotted out. Newbie Young still want to go for this. They're going to zip forward, trying to focus down the Naga Siren. Winter's Curse is going to be completely irrelevant. It's absorbed by the Tusk Snowball. They'll try to focus forward, jumping onto dogfights. The Requiem's going to be unwound. Dogfights will lose his life even through the Song of the Siren. Somehow it's still working out for Newbie Young. They'll focus forward for James. That's 3 kills for them even after stealing the Requiem. That's not going to be super relevant. VG Game potential again are just getting overrun by the Storm Spirit initiations. I thought that would work well for them after the Tusk got the snowball off of the Winter's Curse.
Yeah, they really need this Queen of Pain Orchid before they can fight, and they had a ward there, Newbie Young, and they spotted the smoke from VG Game. That was pretty unfortunate for VG Game, and that pretty much decided how one-sided that fight was, and they're gonna get a lot of damage on this tower with Jakiro and Shadow Fiend doing amazing pushers.
Yeah, just the wild amount of damage on this tower is going to take it by the looks of things. They'll get a Fisher to connect onto Lin, but the tier 2 tower has already fallen, and Newbie Young should be able to cleanly retreat. Now with the full BKB up for the Shadow Fiend, Newbie Young are getting a lot of major items. The stuttering is back a bit, but it's manageable now. I don't want to risk reconnecting and getting a worse server, but now your Orchid is there for VG Gang potential. Maybe, just maybe, they can turn around some fights, but the last couple have been looking really poor.
Yeah, and Stormspirit is quite far away from the Orchid himself, so with a bit of luck here, they can get a few kills on Stormspirit with their own Orchid, VG Gaming of course. But this Queen of Pain has been playing very passive, just split pushing and not joining pretty much any fight except the bottom one when they're turned with Naga Sleep.
Yeah, she is getting a good amount of farm, but she just can't keep up with the Shadow Fiend, just by the nature of the hero. The Shadow Fiend farms faster, and he's been getting more kills, and being a lot more involved with the team, pushing with the mechanism that he purchased, so I don't know, things are looking pretty good for Newbee.Y at the moment, and a lot of this comes down to really good ward vision from both teams. Right now there's a little bit of a lapse in it from Newbee.Y as that next set of wards has expired, but really it seems like every time they go for a push or an aggressive move, they have wards right where they need them for that fight.
Yeah, and I think VG Gaming has to pull something now. It's gonna be really hard when Yakir picks up his duels, and how long far away from Urshik? Urshik is very close to Blink. If they manage to get this tower, and he gets some farm here, which is getting in the jungle, I think he has Blink from that, and that could be very bad for VG Gaming. It's gonna be very hard.
They're going to TP up towards top, trying to defend Winter's Curse. Going to be dropped onto XLL. Blink away by the Queen of Pain. Will keep her alive for a little while longer, but she's spotted and doesn't have another blink for 2 seconds. She's going to go down. Really big pickoff for Newbee.Y. The Queen of Pain getting caught out while split pushing. And that tower is going to fall with it. As you said, Earthshaker is so very close to his blink dagger. Less than 100 gold away.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for Queen of Pain. She blinked into this really weird spot in the jungle and got trapped, and she had to run back to the enemy. If she got an over that, she would have survived. And yeah, this cop is not doing a lot of work right now. They really want her
mid. James gets echo slammed with the follow-up from the Earthshaker and the Storm Spirit. It's more than enough to kill off that Rubik, and they get the tier 1 tower. It's a little bit sad that Earthshaker uses the echo for that kill, since he would have had Blink echo up for the next fight, but he has the Blink just the same, and that's your Orchid for the Storm.
Yeah, and suddenly Cop's Orchid that she got a few minutes before, maybe even 4 minutes before the Storm, didn't really do anything, and she got punished instead, trying to be aggressive with it. And now there's a lot of mobility coming out on Newbee.Y with Blink on Shadow Fiend as well.
This is scary. The amount of initiation that Newbee.Y have at this point is going to be very difficult to deal with. Piao's up in the high ground, but that's, although revealed, not going to be relevant. They're just going to give it this tier 2 tower. They feel that they can't fight, even with all of their ultimates up and even with Echo Slam down. I'm not sure if they were super diligent with the Winter's Curse, but that wasn't available either. It's just the raw amount of power that Newbee.Y's heroes have at the point that gets this tower. Queen of Pain hunting very aggressively. Might spot eyes onto the Earthshaker shortly.
There's a lot of backup though behind Earthshaker. I don't think she's gonna go. With Lina, they might decide. This could be very bad if they try and get a kill. I think they're just gonna fall back, yeah. Tusk finally finish up his blink, which is very big for him. He has some counter initiation, can maybe save someone when they Winter Curse that hero or something like that. You can roll through the Winter Curse and try and help that person. It can be very good.
We have a little bit of lag that was affecting us too, so we're stuck for the time being, but the status quo in this game is looking pretty good for Newbee.Y. Just a couple of minutes ago, it was looking like VG Gaming potential would find themselves with a little bit of momentum, but it's a complete turnaround at about the 13 to 14 minute mark, and now it's a pretty commanding lead for them. Roshan is available, and Newbee.Y have a great team at fighting around that Roshan pit. I don't think they'll do it unless they find a pickoff until they know that either Naga Siren Song's down or they have the Earthshaker Echo back up, but they're primed and ready to start going for these objectives. The tier 2 towers are already falling.
Yeah, and this is looking very grim for VG Gaming. If they manage to get a Roche on Newbee, this Storm Spirit and Shadowfiend can just tear apart VG Gaming, and it seems like Newbee knows that there's a lot of heroes in their own jungle.
Going forward, Fissure going to miss onto the Lina, but I don't think that's going to save her life. She'll use up the Shadowfiend, but that's going to be the death of her. A little bit of Kale there, but you got to see the kill for the most part. It wasn't that impressive. Just a straightforward Lina pickoff for the Newbee.Y side. Punishing that aggressive rotation. That really does start to add up. The Lina's falling behind. She'd love to have her Aghanim Scepter up about now, or at least coming shortly, but she's still one component and 600 gold away.
Yeah, and now it's very grim for Quop, especially on VG Gaming with Yakiro picking up the duels. So even if Quop managed to get a good initiation off and or get Storm and maybe try blowing up, now there's a lot of more counter initiation. Already they were Fissure and also Winter.Y being able to save in several ways. Now she can get Yule stopped and killed immediately. It's she really needs a BKB before the fight, so they kind of have to split push this for until they have those core items. And Lina really needs another item as well.
Yeah, this is difficult. Newbee.Y are now on the aggressive path. The Echo Slam's cooling down in just a second. So if anybody comes to try and defend this tower from the Jakiro, things could go south very quickly for VG.P. But looks like it's just going to be a straight tower push for Newbee.Y. It's answered by a split push by the Queen of Pain and a whole lot of range creeps up in top. It looks like this is an even tower trade. That favors the VG Gaming side by quite a bit.
Yeah, this is really good for them, but Newbee.Y has a lot of damage here to try and go for Tailpiece, and Yakiro and Shadowfiend will be able to take this down a lot faster than VG Gaming are, I think, and they will have to defend here, yeah.
They're going to TP back. Tusk is over in the sidelines. Blink forward. Not going to catch him out. The Tusk was fast enough, and somehow that Ice Path didn't cancel his Blink Dagger, so he's going to live. But the Tier 3 tower not going to be so lucky, taking a lot of heat from the Shadow Fiend. Compare that to the damage the Queen of Pain is doing, it's not even close. We'll take down the Tier 3 tower and start working on the melee barracks. VG Gaming need to do something and do something now.
It's not looking good. The Rex are falling. They kind of need to go, and they might be forced to use Naga Slip to initiate, but this is very risky, and it might get punished hard.
There's your Naga song. They're going to find a good angle. Where's the Light Strike Array? They're going to drop it onto the Storm Spirit with the Laguna Blade. They'll focus him down. But with the Requiem, Shadow Fiend will zone everybody out and take down the melee barracks. Even though Requiem's stolen, Newbee.Y get what they came for. Snowball forward. The Tusk is going to look for Iwies. Going to cancel out the Jakiro's TP with just raw amount of damage, and that will be the end of his life. It's still 2 heroes for a melee barracks trade. It's worth it for Newbee.Y, especially since Shadow Fiend got out safely. It's great for them.
Yeah, it's not the perfect trade from Newbee, but it's still very good for them. And this is very good from VG Gaming going for Roche immediately. But do they have the damage? I think Newbee.Y might know. And if they don't hurry, Storm Spirit could keep in and make a big jump to try and turn this around.
This is gonna be pretty hard. Roshan isn't dropping fast enough, and Newbee.Y are coming in from the sidelines. They have an Echo, they have a Winter Wyvern's ultimate, and this fight inside the pit could go very sour. Roshan's just not falling quick enough. They're going to find the Rubik and blink in Echo, although it is mostly absorbed by the Snowball coming up from the Tusk, and the turnaround is there onto the Earthshaker. The Shadow Fiend's still doing a lot of damage, and Lin is isolated inside the pit. Winter's Curse onto Lin, and the Roshan is now Newbee's for the taking.
Yeah, this went horrible for VG Gaming. It looked okay. It was kind of a YOLO play by Earthshaker, but it worked out really well. And
Blinken Yang, he steals the Aegis, and now, although he's going to die in time, that is a big play coming out from him. It's going to deny the Aegis Wave from the Storm Spirit. Can he get out the second time? No, but still, I think that's worth it for the Tusk.
Yeah, it's a very good play for him. It might get punished hard though. He's dead for quite some time. I'm not sure if he has buyback. He doesn't. He bought up, I think, and they might lose another set of racks before he gets up. Naga Sleep is also down, so they don't have a lot of fighting here, VG Gaming.
Yeah, this is difficult. Even if the Tusk was up, the issue of just Naga Siren not being level 11 and not having on song available for most of these fights is really biting VG Game potential. They need that to reset. The Tier 3 tower is going to fall, at the very least. 20 seconds until Tusk is up. They'll use up the Jakiro, but the Shadow Fiend's still going to town. This could very well be a second set of barracks for the Newbee.Y side. Even without the Aegis, they feel comfortable. They're going to throw out an Ice Path over onto the Rubik, and that will clip it. Melee barracks haven't fallen yet. With the Sonic Wave Laguna Blade, they'll blow up the Jakiro, but now that those spells are on cooldown, Shadow Fiend and Storm feel more than comfortable enough just to take down the building. It costs Shadow Fiend a BKB charge, but they got what they came for. Auto attack raise, kills off the Rubik. They'll try for a net, but that's disjointed, I believe, with the Glimmer Cape cast on the Shadow Fiend. He'll be able to blink out to safety. Tusk blinks forward. He gets the Snowball over onto SCC. The Tusk is isolated. Can they kill off the Shadow Fiend? That would be a big pickoff, but now Yang is stuck with a Fissure coming up from the Shaker. Not enough mana on the Shadow Fiend, however. He's going to be forced to blink out away, but still, pretty good. Ice Shards thrown by the Tusk. Not going to wall off the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend will be able to walk it off.
Yeah, that was really well from you, but they're playing it safe, and it's really, oh wow. I did not expect that, but I don't think they had a big chance in this game at all.
No, maybe better just to call it now than to delay the inevitable. With 2 melee barracks down, it was just a straightforward path to victory for the Radiant side. It works wonders for them, and I think that reserve style of play is really what pulled it through for Newbee.Y. It looked shaky at times. There was points in this game where Newbee.Y were starting to lose a lot of momentum. Their Jakiro didn't have any impact for the first start of that game, but as soon as they started finding those initiations, I think, at least for me, the MVP would be Piao on the Storm Spirit. They found so many good jumps, and that's really what turned the game.
Yeah, it was really good. It was very sad for the Tusk in that game that he went for a play like that, and it's kind of what it's forced to do, but it ended up actually losing them the game straight up.
Yeah, we'll be moving on to game number 2. Let's see if VG Game potential can bring back this best of 3 series. Even if they don't, they're still in the tournament, so the stakes aren't super high, but still, they'd much rather be in the comfortable upper bracket and go up against Tongfu. So we'll be back there in just a second. See you soon.